Okay, so welcome to this evening's Kleeneze training webinar. As you can see there on the screen, tonight we're covering personal development. This is one of 8 webinars that I run, and as you can see there, this is the last one, although it could very easily be the first one, and I'll explain why in a moment. But basically, in the series of 8, the first 3 are to do with just the retail side, the catalogues, how to get the best out of your catalogues and building your customer base. Then a couple, 4 and 5, and a bit of number 6 that are on team building, supporting new team members and so on. And then 6, 7 and 8 are the kind of the other skills and things that you need to build your business, the kind of personal development side of the business. So we're on number 8 at the moment. Next time around we'll be back to the beginning again, all about getting started. So hopefully you'll find this useful. So personal development, what's that all about then? A quick definition for you there. Personal development is a process of self-education where skills and knowledge chosen by you are learned in order to improve the quality of your life. Can't remember now if I made that up or if I've read it somewhere, but it kind of works for me. It kind of explains to me what personal development is all about. So it's not really like school, because you can decide what you want to work on. If you're kind of always putting things off and never getting around to doing what you know you should be doing, then you can kind of read a bit about procrastination and how to stop doing that. If you're kind of worried about, I don't know, making phone calls, follow-up calls and things like that, then you can learn about, facing fears and things like that. So it's whatever you want to develop. So that's why I think it's really so useful. Now in the last module, number 7, we talked about the fact that we all have exactly the same opportunity when we join Kleeneze, but strangely enough, some people will succeed and some people won't. And we explained a bit about why your attitude is so important to your success. So how can you make sure that you are one of the ones that succeed? And I think a good indication actually is the fact that you've bothered to join the webinar tonight. You're obviously sort of got a good attitude and you're heading in the right direction anyway. So carry on along that path. You're certainly heading along a good path there. Self-education. So self-education is a little bit what we're going to talk about now. A little quote here from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn's one of my favourite speakers. He said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." I'll just give you a little story, little sort of indication as to how I kind of reflect on that myself. When I was at school, I sort of felt I was doing reasonably okay. I got it was O levels in my day, not GCSEs, but I got 7 O levels, some A levels. I went to university for a year, but I wasn't really ready for it, so I kind of dropped out. I spent all my grant on going to the local pub and didn't spend enough time studying. So I wasn't really ready for university, and when I was doing O levels, I did a couple of language courses there. I got a B in French, which I was quite pleased with, and a scraped an E in German, which I was pretty useless at. Now 15 years later, I took them again, and I got an A in French and an A in German. Now you may ask yourself, did I suddenly develop a fantastic skill for languages? And the answer, of course, is no. I just worked hard because I wanted to. What actually happened was the company I was working for, and these were actually done at 2 separate stages, but the company that I was working for, the first one got bought out by a French company, and there were some opportunities for people to go and work in Paris. And I thought, oh, I fancy that. So I did an evening class in French. I was really looking forward to it, motivated to do really well, to learn French, so I got an A, and I was really pleased with that. Funnily enough, I never got transferred to Paris, but I changed jobs, and the company I started working for, you probably heard of them, T-Mobile, the mobile phone company, they were actually bought out by a German company. And I thought exactly the same, and there were actually opportunities in Germany, so I did an evening class in German, got a grade A on it. The point I was making there was, I didn't suddenly develop this fantastic skill. I just had a motivation because I wanted to do something. I fancied going to work overseas for a bit, and I worked hard at something, and because I worked hard at it, I got the results that I wanted. So that's important because it's all to do with your motivation, why you're doing something. So that's all very well talking about me and my language skills, but let's bring this back to Kleeneze. Why do people join Kleeneze? Well, it's not usually because they have a passion for delivering catalogues, although it's quite possible, but it's usually because they want to improve their lifestyle. That could just simply be finances. It's mostly about finances, I guess, initially, but maybe it's a bit about being able to earn some money, fitting it around the children or around another job, that sort of thing. But generally, people are wanting to improve something about their life. So, if you started Kleeneze and you had in your mind some kind of improvement in the lifestyle that you wanted, a question I would ask you is, have you achieved it yet? I know when I started, I kind of had this vision of a nice big residual income, which I'm still working towards. Nice car, holidays, all the sort of things that are quite common, I guess, for people to want. But if you haven't achieved that lifestyle yet, then you need to do something about it. And I'm just going to try and guide you through what personal development says you should do. So, to get that improved lifestyle, you need some results, and those results could just be orders from your customers. If your improved lifestyle was simply that you want to be able to buy the kids a pizza and take them to the cinema once a week, £50 a week, something like that, then you just need to get a few orders, get some orders. We all start off saying that it's fairly straightforward. If you've got 200 or 250 catalogues, put those out once a week. It won't be long, and you'll be earning £50 a week if you do that regularly. So you'll need these results. You'll need some orders. You might want to build that into a bigger customer base. If you're looking to earn more than that, or you're wanting to build that residual income, then you'll need some team members to build that residual income up. So those are the results that will help you to get that improved lifestyle. But the results don't come without a bit of effort. So you need to take some actions. So those actions could simply be things like delivering your catalogues and collecting them regularly, or speaking to people about the opportunity if you're looking to build a team. Now, what stops everybody from taking those actions that you need to take? And mostly it's just the attitude. If they can put out 250 catalogues a week, so can I. If they can talk to 2 or 3 people every day about the business, then so can I. So if you've got the right attitude, you'll take those actions. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you sort of think, oh God, I'm not sure, the weather's not great today, or I'm feeling a bit achy, I'm a bit bummed up. That's how I feel at the moment. I'm a little bit bummed up. Maybe I won't bother put my catalogues out tomorrow. So that attitude can stop you from taking those actions that you should take. But the whole attitude about the whole thing about whether you've got a good attitude or a bad attitude, whether you tend to think about the positive things in your life, in your business, or the negative things, a lot of that is based on your philosophies on life. I'm going to expand on that in a moment. But basically, if we then just take that back a little bit, so we started off thinking about how can we get this improved lifestyle from, whether it's just taking the kids to the cinema once a week, or whether it's the Ferrari or whatever. To get that improved lifestyle, you need those results. To get the results, you need take some actions. To make sure you take the actions persistently and consistently, you need a good attitude. And to get a good attitude, you need to have some strong philosophies. So I'm going to take that back. Take that back a little bit to say, actually, you need to do this the other way around. You can't just start off with results. What you start off with is, what are your philosophies on life? So here we are. Your philosophies on your life determine your attitude. Your attitude determines whether you bother to take those actions every day, like you should. Taking those actions regularly will result in will produce those results, and having the results that you want will deliver that lifestyle that you're looking for. So, if that's all it is, how do you get yourself a good philosophy? When I first started looking at personal development, little aside here, people said to me about, oh, what's your philosophy on life? I wouldn't have a clue what my philosophy on life. I think my philosophy on life was, I hope my local football team wins on a Saturday. I hope I have more money in my account at the end of the month than is going out. But I didn't really know what people were talking about when they mentioned philosophies. But I'll hopefully expand on that a little bit more, and a lot about your philosophy will come from the books that you read. It will come from the CDs that you listen to and the people you associate with. So you can influence that. You can educate yourself, and you can start a program of personal development by choosing the right books, the right CDs, and the right people to associate with. Now, who can start a program of personal development? Anyone can. The whole point of what I'm just about to talk about is the fact that starting personal development does not mean paying thousands and thousands of pounds to some kind of life coach or attending an evening class or anything like that. You can start off doing anything that I'm just about to talk about. Jim Rohn also talks about the greatest value in achieving success is not the money you make, but the person you become. Hi, I'm just going to stop a moment. Suzanne, I just noticed there you're saying about me breaking up. Can I just ask everyone else, are you able to hear me okay, or is this breaking up a lot? I'm just going to pause a moment, just get a little bit of feedback from people, just to see if you can hear me. Or thanks, Helen. Thanks, Glyn. Thanks, Dave. Yeah. No. Okay. I suspect we've just got an internet problem, guys. Most people seem to be hearing it okay. Adele up in the wilds of Scotland, it's probably because you're so far away, Adele. That's what it'll be. I can't say the same about Crawley, Suzanne. So I'm sorry. Hopefully on the recording that I'll put out tomorrow, then it should all be fine. So anything that you've missed, Suzanne, you could catch up tomorrow. Okay, let's carry on with this a moment. So Jim Rohn said the greatest value in achieving success is not the money you make, but the person you become. And that's really, really true. If you learn some good attitudes and skills, even if you lose all the money that you've made, you can just do it all over again because you don't lose those skills and those attitudes. So how do you start this program of personal development? Well, a good way to start is to read 10 pages of a good book every day. And now you might think Harry Potter is a good book, and I wouldn't disagree with you, but in terms of personal development, I've got a few recommendations in a minute. In the previous couple of webinars, I talked about some books as well, but I'll go into that a little bit more. So if you read 10 pages of a good book every day, that's fairly straightforward, shouldn't take too long, a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes maybe. Even with 115 days off a year, that's 2,500 pages in a year. That's 10 good books. If you read 10 good books in a year, that's a great way to start your self-education and your personal development. If you're not good at reading, I've got to admit I struggle with reading a lot. I usually sit down in bed intending to read, and 5 minutes into it I'm dozing off. So what works better for me is that I listen to 10 minutes of an audio CD every day. So I've got loads of audio CDs in the car, on my iPhone, so you can listen to things like that. And another good quote that which I read, you need to think about who you spend most of your time with. If the 4 people you spend the most time with are broke, you'll be the 5th. And that's probably quite true, actually. In terms of attitudes and motivation, if you can spend time with successful people and learn from them, you're likely to copy what they do. If you're spending time with people who are always skint and just don't have any desire to improve themselves, you probably struggle to break away from that. So I've got a few philosophies that I just wanted to bounce through you before I talk about some specific books that I recommend you start having a look at. And hopefully you may well be familiar with these anyway. Here's a good one. Take responsibility for everything going on in your life. So, what do I mean by that? If you start blaming someone or something for anything, you lose the ability to do anything about it. For example, you might sort of say, oh God, I've been working in this job for years and years and years, my boss won't give me a pay rise. As soon as you blame your boss, then you're saying it's up to your boss to decide whether I get a pay rise or not. So you can't do anything about it. You're just completely wasting your time. However, if you say, okay, what I need to do is find out what are the extra skills that I need to get promoted, or to give myself the opportunity of finding a better job, and find some skills and take an evening class and do a bit of research and do whatever you need to do, so that you take on the responsibility of saying, if my boss doesn't give me a pay rise, I'm going to learn some more skills so I can get another job that pays better. And as soon as you start doing that, and you start learning those skills, it becomes your responsibility, and you can do something about it. As soon as you blame someone else, you just give all the power to them, and you just it's very stressful if you start to blame people, because all you're doing is saying, there's nothing I can do about my situation, it's all up to my boss or whoever else you're passing the blame on to. Another thing I hear quite often is people say, I don't have time to do that, I have to do these other things. What's much better to say is the fact that actually we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And if you start saying, I choose to spend my time doing this rather than that, then again, you've got control. Rather than thinking, oh crikey, there isn't enough time in the day, because there's nothing you can do about that. You can't make a 28-hour day or a 32-hour day. But if you're saying, I'm choosing to spend my time doing this today instead of that, if that doesn't work out for you, then the next day you can say, actually today I'm going to choose to spend my time doing something different. So that whole philosophy about taking responsibility for everything means that you have the decisions, you have the choice to decide what to do about it. And that just gives you a lot of power, and it reduces stress, because you're no longer dependent on other people to do things. You can decide yourself what you're going to do. Okay, here's another one for you. Success is a few correct decisions repeated every day, and failure is a few errors in judgment repeated every day. That's a Jim Rohn quote. You'll also see that a lot in a couple of books that I'm going to mention in a moment, The Compound Effect and The Slight Edge. It's pretty rare that you become successful overnight or you become a failure overnight. It's usually those little things that you do every day that are repeated over and over again that determine your success or your failure. So sometimes it's easy to think, oh, I don't mind doing this, I don't mind if I do that. I know I shouldn't really be doing it, but it's only once or twice. But before you know it, a week later, a month later, you've done it 10, 20, 30 times. If it's a bad thing, you're heading in the wrong direction. If it's a good thing, you're building up some great habits and heading in the right direction. Yeah, I've just said that again. So for example, you might sort of think, oh well, shall I put that extra 50 catalogues out? I've got 200, can I manage another 250? If you say that yes, every week I'm going to put the extra 50 catalogues out, then over a period of time that will build your customer base more quickly. And if you're doing an extra couple of rods in the pond, putting some more shop cards up or doing those extra leaflets, then that's going to generate leads more quickly and bring in the team members more quickly. And if you read those extra 10 pages of a good book and you do that consistently every day, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, then that's going to really build up your philosophies, your attitude, which will encourage you to take those actions that you should take, which will produce the results that you want. And the last one there, you've probably heard this before, help enough people get what they want out of life, and you can have anything you want out of life. And that's just all about helping other people. There's lots of selfish people around, but if you can put yourself in the place of where you're trying to help people get what they want, rather than trying to focus on what you're wanting, then you'd be amazed at the success that comes your way as a result. Okay, so if you're wanting to go on some personal development, and I certainly recommend you do, then I've got some recommended books for you to start off with. And I have mentioned these before, as I said, so I apologise if you've already sort of been through these. A couple by Jim Rohn. I'm a big fan of Jim Rohn. Building Your Network Marketing Business is a CD. It's all about philosophies on network marketing. It's a really, really easy one to listen to. I think it's great fun, and it just prepares you really well for when you're starting to get into team building and things. I think it was the first one I listened to, and I think it's possibly still my favourite now. Excuse me. There's another book by Jim called 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness. Excuse me. If you're more of a reader than a listener, then that's a great one to read. It's all about setting goals, investing time and money in your life, and your life philosophies. A lot of the things that I've talked about today have come out of that book by Jim. The slight edge and the compound effect are the ones that I mentioned earlier. The whole thing about, it's not making big decisions. Don't worry about having to make the big decision or the right decision. It's just little ones that you make every day, compounded over a period of time, that will determine your success. And then 2 more. Dale Carnegie. I quite like this one. How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is quite a long, it's quite a long book. It's set back in the, I think, 1930s and 40s. It's like an American. I can imagine these big steel magnates building these, great big steel companies. It's based in that era, but the gist of it is, be nice to people. It's amazing what you get in return. I really like that. So that's one I certainly recommend. I'm happy to chat to you about that at any time if anyone wants to. And then the last one, which is a bit different to the other ones, but again I really like this one. Darren Hardy has written a book called Design Your Best Year Ever, and it's more of a workbook than something you just read through. It basically says, okay, pick a year, and it can be any 12 months. You can start on the 29th of January till the 28th of January next year. It doesn't have to be, the New Year's resolutions or anything like that. And basically, you just determine what you want to achieve in the year. Set your goals, and then you kind of break them down into monthly chunks, and then into kind of weekly steps, and then daily actions. And it's all done in a really structured way. And if you like kind of a bit of organisation to your life, because that's certainly what I'm like, this is a great way to break down fantastic goals into daily steps. Because sometimes if you have a great big goal, I don't know, you might have a goal for qualifying for Jamaica, for example, getting to bronze exec if you're not there already. And that might seem quite a long way off, depending on where you are in the business at the moment. So if you break that down into, I've got 12 monthly stages that I need to go through. What do I need to do to achieve bronze exec? So you can kind of break that down into maybe the size of the PSG that you need over the next couple of months and so on. And then break that down into weekly stages. Okay, so what do I need to do? Maybe you need to bring in 1 or 2 new team members every week in order to achieve that. And that still sounds maybe quite challenging, but then if you break that down into daily actions, so to bring in 1 or 2 team members every week, maybe you need to generate 50 leads. So that could be, leafleting 2 or 3 times a week, putting out, shop cards, generating some off the internet, whatever the rods in the pond, if you like, that you're working with at the moment. And by breaking it down into that, you can just create a daily checklist for yourself that says, okay, today I need to go out and put out 10 shop cards, for example. And just by breaking those big things down into small steps, it makes them feel a lot more manageable. And this is like a workbook that helps you do that. So I certainly recommend that. That's a really good one as well. And it just gets you into great disciplines. And that's what all of these are about. It's about learning philosophies and disciplines that will then give you the right attitude, that will then encourage you to take those actions, which will deliver the results to give you that lifestyle that you joined Kleeneze for. So when can you start doing your personal development? Well, there's a clue there. You can start today. I'm not going to be able to try and create programs for everybody on this, and I wouldn't even attempt to suggest I'm an expert at that. I certainly feel like I've learned a lot myself. And I hope this will kind of give you a clue as to the sorts of things that you can also do yourself. But I hope it kind of gives you some kind of inspiration to start, or to continue if you're not already, or just to expand on a little bit if you're doing something already. If you'd like any more details on any of those books or any of the philosophies that I've mentioned or anything at all, let me know. I'm going to hang around for 10 minutes at the end of this, so if anyone's got a specific question, feel free to type away at that. Or if you want to email me or send me a message on Facebook or anything like that afterwards, then that's fine. Okay, that's the end of today's webinar. Where are we? Ooh, 26 minutes just about that took. So that was number 8. As you can see, the next one, which I'll be doing hopefully next week, I've got something on next week possibly, so I'll have to let you know whether that's definitely on. That's going to be all about getting started. Back to the beginning again. Your boxes of catalogues has just arrived. What do you do once you've opened them, basically? So that's what that's all about. Great for new starters, or if you've been in the business for a while and you'd like to get into the team building side, then obviously knowing what to do, knowing how to help your new starters, that should be useful for you as well. Okay, so as I said right at the beginning, these are 8 different webinars that I've done, and that was the last of them. They're all on that YouTube channel there. If you just go to YouTube, do a search on Chris Smith Kleeneze, you'll find me. Feel free to put any comments on there if you have any. I'm happy to reply to any answers via that. As I said, yeah, I'll see you Sunday, Dave. Thanks everybody for joining in. I'm just going to stop the recording now.